What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's going on with y'all, man? What's going on?
Man, welcome to Over the Counter Podcast, episode 6.
Big
It's
six.
6 of them things. That's crazy.
We on the
It don't
road.
feel
We on
like
the road.
6.
We on the
Don't
road.
feel like 6. But yeah, we on the road for sure. Man, it's been another week full of news across the board. We got tariffs. We got Elon, man. He making a lot of headlines. He doing a lot out there. We got some new confirmations, and then of course we have a market update. A lot has went on since the last podcast. The market has indeed made some moves since then. We'll get into that. But man, the trade war escalation, man. What's going on?
Just
What's up with your boy?
like I said last episode, man, it's day to day because we thought we had a little bit of chill. We had reached, an agreement and had a pause in regards to Canada and Mexico. China was still with the smoke. They still was throwing a tariffs on us. And really I think a lot of the escalation is a result of that. These
Mhm.
are retaliatory tariffs. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know where this is going. I don't really know where it's
Right.
going to stop because China doesn't seem like they're willing to give any leeway. We know Donald Trump's not giving any leeway. I don't know, man. I think it's just bad for you know it's bad for everybody involved. China, us, Canada, Mexico. We're all intertwined, whether we like it or not. We all depend on each other for resources, goods, services. But at the end of the day, man, we're gonna be the ones that feel it.
Right. I mean, it's especially hard to grasp, not necessarily hard to grasp, but it'll definitely hit us given what's being hit with tariffs specifically. You got steel and aluminum. I mean, you got a lot of cars, there's a lot of manufacturing that utilize steel and aluminum, things of that nature. So definitely could impact the automotive market as far as making things a little bit more expensive. A lot of things could be that utilize aluminum. These two resources could definitely see a price impact for sure. So, I mean, Brazil is also included in that, in the UAE. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of different countries getting hit with these tariffs.
Well, I can tell you all of them. So as far as where the U.S. imports steel and aluminum from, in regards to steel, and these are numbers coming from 2024, the year we just got out of, we get majority of our steel from Canada by wide margin, then Mexico, then Brazil, then China and Taiwan. Those are just give the top five. And
Mhm.
then as far as aluminum, Canada again at the top spot. It's not even close. Nobody's even close. And then you have the UAE, Mexico, South Korea, and then China. So we thought things were cooling down with
With Canada,
it, yeah,
but they
bro.
getting
And it
smacked.
seems like this tariff hitting Canada the biggest, and it's
Right.
still hitting Mexico, still hitting. You want to know what's crazy to me is that China is the one who is going crazy imposing these tariffs on us directly, and the tariffs that we impose, they're not directly hitting China. You would think he would do something that would hit China directly the hardest. This seems like it's hitting Canada the hardest.
I mean, do you think that could also stem from the fact that just based off of observation, based off of observing how Trump has moved in regards to Canada, do you think by hitting Canada the hardest with an aluminum tariff, do you think the line of thought is, well, we can survive without them?
But yeah, we heard him. We heard him share that sentiment last week. He said we don't need them
Right,
for anything. I mean, and
right.
he's treating that way with his actions.
So, I mean, with that being said, he probably feels like we could bring enough manufacturing back to the States to where, yeah, we may need you for steel for right now, just because of how we got it set up. But if we cut this off right here, it ain't gonna take much for us to get going back, just with American made steel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of that, out of the three, Canada is probably the one that we could afford to cut off more so than China and Mexico.
Right. Right. I definitely agree with that. I feel like at this point, China's too big of a market, and the global market depends too much on China to where you can just X them out any longer. Like at this point, it's fighting to keep competitive advantage. That's
That's
what
it.
it.
That's it. Because we can't X. They can't X us out. We can't X them out. It's like having a brother that y'all twins and y'all fighting. I was born a minute first. I would know. We can't.
Right.
Oh, it's a toxic relationship, but I don't know where this thing is going. I don't know where it's headed. This is something that we've seen in Trump's first presidency in regards to the trade war with China, and now we're just seeing more of the same. This time
But
it's
what's
involving other people.
not only that, but it's like I mean, they're establishing entire regimes to create reciprocal tariffs on countries that are already imposing high tariffs on US goods. And they specifically are targeting China, Vietnam, Brazil, and India. So in a way, we kind of are looking at China like, look, man, you hit us with some tariffs, we gonna hit you with tariffs. And just that tit for tat, which ain't gonna
Yeah,
get us
but
nowhere.
it's like now you open up the door. Of course, China's hitting us with whatever, and now we thought we had an agreement with Mexico and Canada, and now are we going to see more retaliatory tariffs from them again? Do we start all the way from scratch?
I mean, does it really matter if Canada hits us with retaliatory tariffs if we
I
already
mean,
moving like we feel like we can live without them?
you can say that. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing, to go out and do it. Can we
Right.
live without them? Yes. Can we do it now without bottlenecks, without a hurting being put on our supply chains? No, we're going to feel it. Unfortunately, we don't have the manufacturing here yet. you know,
Right. I
he's
mean,
putting.
Trump straight up said, like, I mean, he said he feel like everybody's all for a little bit of pain for long
Ooh,
term gain.
hey, speak for yourself.
Hey, Trump said that. That's your boy.
All I'm
That's
gonna
your
say
boy.
is, luckily for us, we've recently built homes because I would hate to be in buying a home right now. Canada, we get a lot of lumber from them. We get a lot of
Yeah.
steel from them, a lot of aluminum, and I mean, you can say we don't need them, but we're getting a lot of things from them. If we
Yeah.
didn't
Because if we
need
didn't
them,
need them, then right. Yeah. That's how I feel too. I mean, because think about it like this: like I said, cars they gonna get more expensive. The cost of construction in general could get expensive because I mean, you need to be able to repair those big machines.
mhm,
Those require steel parts, that type of stuff. Being able to produce more of those is gonna cost. So it's gonna affect a lot of stuff, man. Like
I just don't.
I'm
What is
not
it?
saying I'm not saying go out and buy it now, but don't be surprised if it's more expensive here in a few
My thing,
months.
the only thing I'm interested to see, because I'm interested to see where does it end. Who's going to budge first? Who's going to be? We've heard Trump say he wants to be a peacemaker. Who's going to budge first? It's really between us and China at the end of the day. That's who controls this entire thing. Who's going to budge first? I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't. We dealing with two very stubborn superpowers. So I
Yeah,
don't.
but the last thing they want is like actual war, though. Because you notice that's the last thing they want,
Yep.
right? Which is
I,
always a good thing,
I don't really see it leading to war, but I mean, it's technically it's a financial war.
right?
Essentially, it's
I
one
mean,
of
it's better,
resources.
in more ways than one. It's better than boots on the ground, in my
Yeah, for
opinion.
sure,
So,
for sure. I can agree with that.
I mean, but moving on, I mean, we got a lot of tariffs going on. Trump is mainly spearheading a lot of that. He's in the headlines specifically for that.
Mhm,
But his counterpart, Elon, is in the news and in the headlines for something totally different.
mhm.
These Doge audits, although I agree with the audit themselves, like I agree with finding corruption and exposing the corruption and getting rid of the corruption. And if it means getting more money back in the pockets of taxpayers, I'm all for it because taxes is too damn high anyway. And they never tell you where your money's going anyway.
No
So I'm
fake.
all for that.
Mhm.
But personally, because I said the same thing when it came to Bill Gates just last administration, had an issue with Fauci, things of that nature. So I got to keep the same energy with Elon. I just don't like that Elon is the person that's the face of these audits, right? Like, I don't like that part. I don't like how closely tied Elon is to the actual audits. I definitely think, especially as he goes down the line with certain government agencies, it could look real conflict of interesty, that type of thing. But that's just me.
I mean, I pretty much share the same sentiment. I just believe that, when you think about Elon Musk, he has so many companies from XAI to Tesla to Starlink to Neuralink to space. There's not too much he can touch in the government that's not going to affect his bottom line in some shape, form, or fashion. When you're
Right.
dealing with government agencies, going at agencies like the FAA, direct conflict of interest. When you're going at, not necessarily going at, an organization that Trump has put forth such a Stargate, but going at them saying they don't have the money after they just announced a $500 billion deal. You're going after certain agencies, that you may have spoke negatively of or had issues. I just don't believe, like we said, I don't believe that he should be the one spearheading this. I think that Elon Musk is better suited. We need him in involved in his companies, giving us the technological edge, giving his expertise there. I believe he's an amazing CEO. He's a brilliant mind. And my biggest thing is there's no transparency. If you're going to be
Mhm.
auditing, if you're going to be, telling us, oh, they're spending here, they're spending here, they're doing this, they're doing that, there's corruption, there's money laundering. We need to see reports.
You
I
know,
don't just see tweets. We need to see real of reports on a real government site that can be validated. I don't just want to see Elon Musk tweeting. We need to see reports. It needs to be done. It needs to be done the right way if you're going to do it.
yeah. And I definitely agree with that transparency part, which is why I thought it was interesting that Elon tweets and he's starting to campaign essentially for government spending to be put on the blockchain. That would be interesting because how else do you ensure transparency?
I don't know if that's going to happen. The
But
government.
but you just asked for transparency.
No, I'm asking for transparency as far as his audits, his findings. Now,
Yeah, why wouldn't you audit?
thinking that the government is going to get on board with full transparency on where the comings and goings of money, man, that's a big ask.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying
It would be
when
nice.
people ask for transparency and he's
Yeah,
also talking about
yeah.
blockchain, that's where the two happen. But I don't
We
think people are making that connection.
we heard that. We heard that in terms of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They proposed something like that with that.
Right. Right. I mean,
You
and
know,
there's been times too in the past where the voting system being put on a blockchain, that type of stuff has been proposed. It's been talked about. But as we've talked about on this type of stage, will it happen? I don't know.
is that
I
safe?
really don't. Yeah.
I mean,
How else is it immutable? What else is fully transparent? That type
no,
of
no, no.
stuff.
I mean, like, is it safe in regards to our opposition, say China? Is it safe for all of our financial information in terms of a government being just open source, out, public knowledge? They know how much money we're putting towards weapons and defense. They know how much money we're putting in our military. Is it safe in that aspect? Would everything be safe on the blockchain, or should some things be excluded?
On that degree, I do think some things should be excluded personally, because I don't think people really understand what they're asking for when they ask for certain things like transparency. Because at a certain level, too much transparency can be a national security threat. So you got to really think about what you're asking for and be able to delineate what should and shouldn't be. Like, like, for instance, where does the tax dollars in which y'all take out of my check go? That's what I want to see
Yeah.
personally. I want to see where that's directly gone. Where, and when we spend money on national defense, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's being done. Clearly, it's being done, so I don't need to know that. But where and how you directly impact my day to day life in terms of taxation, I need to know where that's going. And I
So
also need to be able to say, okay, based on this percentage that we all agreeing on that we paying, if I want to delineate more of that percentage to certain things, I should be able to do that.
would you think something like we talked about the sovereign wealth fund? Would that be something that you think should be blockchain open to everybody?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because what also a lot of people don't think about is a sovereign wealth fund is just another way of nationalizing corporations that are in that fund.
I do believe, since we're on the topic, it's kind of off topic, but not really. Um, I do believe that that sovereign wealth fund idea is probably one of the most brilliant. I can't really say it's his idea, but if he's the one who's talking about bringing it forward, actually putting real motion behind it, if he's able to get a sovereign wealth fund going, that will probably be the biggest footprint he would have left on the government after his term, because you're talking about investing in our the biggest companies and putting them in a sovereign wealth fund and the type of money that they can generate. But I also don't know if those companies would be willing to give a government a piece of the pie in terms of ownership.
Right. And you can't give it too much a piece of a pie because, like I said, I mean, that's when you start itching towards nationalizing those companies that would be within that fund. Like now it's no longer a free market. Kind of like I mean, honestly, it's not really a free market with insurance.
What
Like, think about,
in that case, do you trust it then? Because does our government have the do they have enough self control to not overstep?
do we or do we not no longer care about the veil of a free market anymore? That would be my question. If we don't, sure, by all means, let's go ahead and spin up the sovereign wealth fund. If we do, then no. I mean, I'm talking too much. Never,
Hey man, it gets
hey, I'm
sticky,
trying,
bro. When you get to talking about the government and
bro.
money and transparency and owning this and investing in that, it gets scary. But type of stuff to get you took off the net.
Hey, I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful. That's all
But
I can say.
that's part of the reason why, from a financial expert, I mean, from a financial, you know, frame of thinking, Donald Trump is doing some things that are unprecedented. So
Oh, oh yeah,
when it comes to just money and bringing money back to the United States and trying to slash spending and trying to not only slash spending but have America indulge in things that are going to generate money, like a strategic Bitcoin reserve, like a digital stockpile, like a sovereign wealth fund. These are things that you would think that would already be in place. Surprisingly enough, they're not, and he could potentially. That's why I say, from that aspect, he could potentially go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time if you look at it just purely from a financial aspect. If he's able to do all the things that he's trying to do.
yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that, especially from the standpoint of during absolute economic hard times, regardless of whether people want to admit we are in a recession or not. I don't understand why that's
It's
not
hard though, bro, because you go
but
outside and it's like it don't look like it.
it's fake. That's what people
Hey,
don't get. It's fake.
the
It's
blinders are
it's
on.
absolutely fake, bro. Like people are barely making it. People are like running up credit and defaulting on credit loans more than ever.
Yeah.
People are living off of money they quite literally don't have.
But that
So
I mean, that's always been a thing. Granted, it is at all time high levels. But you got to think. America, we are the biggest consumers in the world, and we've never stopped consuming. So it doesn't. When you go outside, the financials say one thing, but the spending,
I'm
the sentiment is not.
I'm gonna say this,
We in
and then
hardship.
I'm gonna swerve back on topic. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get back on topic. The definition of a recession is two declining quarters in a row.
Oh man,
We've been declining more than two in a row.
yeah.
Okay, we are in a recession. I don't care what nobody said. Unless we're trying to change the definition of what a recession is,
Oh, I think they've
we
already
are
tried to
tech-
do that. They've already tried to do that.
we are in a recession unless the definition of one has changed. That's all I'm saying. Getting back on topic though, in regards to um government spending, all like just talking about financials when it comes to the government. Do I think some of that stuff should be on a blockchain? Absolutely. Some stuff should be omitted though, just for national security reasons. I do agree with Donald Trump being the greatest, going down as the greatest, one of the greatest presidents of all time, if he is able to deliver on any of this stuff. But I will say it's going to be interesting how he navigates and makes all this stuff flip on a positive end, given how tough the current economic state is. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we're going to see, bro. There are a lot of things in his way, a lot of it self-inflicted with the tariffs and the trade war. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see. He has this vision that he's going to slash government spending. He's going to reduce taxes for the middle class, for corporations who are producing goods and services over here in America. He's going to tax outside countries, and he's going to get the tech space booming, stocks booming, crypto booming. It sounds good in theory, all of the things he has planned, and it's not a perfect world. Something gonna have to
Nah,
give.
it's not perfect, but I will say this in the vein of crypto. I have never in my time being in this space seen the government talk about crypto as often as they have. Even if nothing happens in 2025 related to them making a decision on a strategic Bitcoin reserve or any of the stuff that we've heard them talk about, I have never seen the spotlight be put on crypto as much as it has been right now.
Of
So
course,
that's a
absolutely.
good thing.
So you think it's a possibility that we don't see a strategic Bitcoin reserve or a digital stockpile this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That would be
You must not know how the government works.
that would be
You must not be
a
familiar with how
no.
slow
I'm
they
not
move.
talking about. I'm not talking about it being absolutely like established. But if it's
Right.
not announced as absolute for certain by the end of 2025, your crypto bros is gonna have heart attacks. They're
They
gonna be saying,
probably
"Oh, you're
are.
a liar. You're not doing this. You're not doing that." That
They
would be a big
probably
miss.
are. I don't know. I don't understand why people expect it to be delivered this year. I will be shocked personally if there's something concrete by fourth quarter 2025. I personally would be shocked at that.
But why would it take so long for like the strategic Bitcoin reserve? That's something the groundwork has already been laid out, the infrastructure, the whole plan. We already
Not
have it. Why would
necessarily.
it
Not
take so long
necessarily.
to roll that out?
There's more pieces to the puzzle. Like financial institutions, like actual custodians and banks, have to start custodying and holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets
They got the
before
clear.
I see they well no, they may have gotten it clear, but there's one last thing that in their way, which is why our next topic, the new comptroller of currency, is so important. They have one more thing to turn over before the green light is really lit, right? So, like we were talking offline, the previous comptroller of the current speak before we get into this. So we got a new confirmation of the comptroller of currency for the U.S. government. For those that don't know, the office of comptroller of the currency is I guess you could say like a subsection of the Treasury Department. And basically, they are in charge of a lot of different things pertaining to the government, specifically in finances. But they basically they regulate national banks, they approve bank charters, they enforce consumer protection, they handle bank failures, which is really important. And then they of course establish bank policy, bank rules, stuff like that. And the new comptroller of the currency, his name is Rodney Hood. He was confirmed, or at least announced sometime yesterday. Um, not really talked about widely, so you got to really have your ears to the streets to know that. But that is one of the three-letter organizations people need to get more familiar with, the OCC. They definitely deal with a lot of important things related to finances, national banking, stuff like that. So that would definitely impact us as normal consumers, being that close to how our money is dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's something you've ever heard about, don't feel bad because trust me, I spent a lot of time looking into the markets, interest rates, financials of companies. I spent a lot of time watching CNBC, reading this article, reading that article, looking into this, looking into that. I never heard about OCC until today.
Yeah,
And it's really a shame because as much as we hear about cabinet picks, as much as we hear about these agencies, as much as we hear about spending and interest rates and jobs and all of these things, you would think that's something that would be at the forefront.
right. And the Treasury Department directly works with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. So, the Fed chair, the US treasurer, comptroller of the currency, they kind of all work together, which is interesting because, like you said, you would think you would hear something about OCC within that, given Jerome Powell's screen time. Sometimes you see the U.S. Treasurer, probably not as much as you see Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. So you would think you would hear something about the comptroller of currency, but like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah, it's probably. I mean, you have those different, organizations that kind of stay behind the scenes and handle things, make sure everything's above board, auditing, all that different type of stuff. So, I mean, we don't. I don't really know how deeply involved they are in things, or how much reach and control, and how many things they can manipulate and have power over. But just from the textbook definition, the responsibilities that they have, you would think they would be somebody that would be in front of a microphone telling Americans, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is the strength of the economy. This is why you have the price of gold going up. This is why interest rates are doing this. This is why Treasury." You would think they would be in front of a microphone somewhere, and the fact that they're not is pretty alarming.
right. But tying that back to crypto and blockchain, as far as a strategic reserve being established by the end of 2025, the last administration's comptroller of currency implemented, they basically, in a way, underhandedly discouraged banks from holding and custodying crypto, which is why you hearing a lot of, or you just had a Senate hearing about, or congressional hearing about debanking. Like what did banks or other financial institutions do to customers who ran a crypto related business? That's a big thing because that's actually against a lot of laws that you can't really break as a financial institution. So that's definitely going to be important to pay attention to. But basically, the new comptroller currency, it'll be interesting to see where his first focus will be because Rodney Hood, when you do your research on him, he seems to be crypto positive, pro crypto. So we'll see what he does, but if he essentially goes back and undoes the damage that the previous administration did in terms of custody and crypto, and rebuilding the banking relationships with a lot of these crypto companies, that is where I start to see banks actually, seeing that as the green light and custodying, holding crypto on their balance sheets. Before that, I don't think that's going to happen. So until that happens, I don't think the Bitcoin reserve is going to happen personally.
Is this somebody that actually has the authority to so he wouldn't be the one actually providing regulatory clarity.
No, you expect Congress to do that.
Okay, so exactly what role is he playing in regards to tying crypto to the banks?
Favorable policy. So
Okay.
because the office of the comptroller of currency creates bank rules and policies, it creating more favorable, more clear policies related to how banks interact with crypto based off of the guidance given from Congress. That is what will make banks more accept receptive to holding crypto.
So then my
So
next
it literally goes Congress and then down.
so my next question would be, which I don't know if you know the answer to this, considering that we don't really hear about comptrollers. If they are indeed passing regulation and he has the authority to put forth or get the ball rolling on that type of regulation, if we don't hear about this man or really didn't hear about the last one in terms of Congress and policy being passed, who is the face of pushing this policy? Is it a certain congressman or woman? Is it,
In
who's
terms of Trump's administration, I don't think it would be any of them, but I definitely see Senator Loomis maybe having a role to play with that. Just
Senator
based
Lu-
off of her position within that space. And then of course you can't forget the crypto and AI czar, David Sachs.
yeah.
He would definitely be in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, congratulating or talking to some degree related to any regulation or laws created for
So
favorable
he would be
crypto
the
policy.
face. He more than
Yeah,
likely.
most likely. And then you can also tie them to anything AI, artificial intelligence related too. If we end up coming out with official guidance, rules, stuff like that, he'll probably talk to some degree about that. Because he gonna have to be involved in it on both ends.
Yeah, there's somebody I'm gonna definitely be paying a lot of attention to for the remainder of the year and over the coming years because I didn't know about the OCC. And now that I do, it's something I have to pay attention to.
Bro, it's always them three-letter agencies that you got to pay attention to because we don't vote for these people. These people are selected by already voted for individuals. So in a way, we voted for these representatives, like senators and congressmen and you know House of Representatives, that type of stuff. We vote for those people, and then they turn around and they represent us by voting for these bureaucrats that run these three-letter agencies. But that's the issue. Yeah, you make that's where our visibility in voting stops.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, I mean, you are voting for them indirectly because, say, crypto, for example, if you're voting purely based off crypto and you have Trump who seems to be pro crypto and he teamed up with Cynthia Loomis and they were talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve and all of these things. And then you have someone say like a Biden, who we knew what his stance was on crypto, the debanking, not providing regulatory clarity, attacking different people like Ripple, all that, tying them up in court, all that type of stuff. You would kind of know by voting for this side that hey, 9 times out of 10, they're going to put somebody favorable in that position, even though I can't directly vote on something like that. But I mean
I
that's
mean,
just
you
how
would hope.
people gotta be informed about who they vote for to begin with.
Right, right. I mean, you definitely would hope that that's how it's done, but it to me, it's still very it's kind of weird that we don't really have. Yeah, we may not directly vote into it, but like you said, you didn't even know who the comptroller of currency was. But that's a very important role. A lot of people outside, just we know who they are because we are heavily researched. We're well within this space, but a lot of people don't know who the Fed chair is and what they're responsible for. They don't know who the U.S. Treasurer is and things of that nature. So to me, the fact that the common everyday person can't easily find out who these people are, or at least track, news, stuff like that related to these people, I think that's a problem because that to me represents where our visibility and the going ons of our government stops. Like a lot of people don't even know who their representatives are.
Yeah, that's a problem too. But I mean, I think
So,
that there's a lot of distractions out here, a lot of headlines that get put out, and a lot of things that get overshadowed. And most of the times, the things that get overshadowed are some of the most important things, some of the most important topics. Because I very well could have heard about, I very well could have heard OCC talked about and overlooked it, or something else more eye catching was going on. But I don't know, man. I think that may be even some that's also good about Doge and things that they're going on that are highlighting stuff people would normally pay attention to.
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whether you agree with it or not, I mean, I agree with the audience, like I said. It's just weird to see Elon doing it. Like that just to me opens the door. Even if he's doing stuff that I like, that I agree, that's just a slippery slope, And that I just can't get with that part.
It's just the fact that he's not, for one, you're not a government elected official, and then you had the whole big boss thing, and then it's funny, it's a talking point, but when you really think about it, the fact that somebody saying that type of grotesque stuff on the net could even be in a position to even have access to information like that and even be in a role like that, it leaves you to question Elon Musk and say, you know, what is he doing? We're not getting any transparency. We're not getting reports. We're not, we're hearing it from your tweets, but you have questionable people in, and then you're giving them second chances. Have these people been vetted? Are there security clearances involved? People calling to question the age. Matter of fact, how do you feel about the age of the people involved? The what they say, 18 to 25. Do you feel like that plays a role? Should they even be involved in something going on like this at that age?
Yes, franchise. And that's why I think that part, the age part was genius because they haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet. They haven't drank the government Kool-Aid yet. So they really can't be bought, swayed. I mean, obviously they probably could be bought, but they could probably be swayed
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna say it.
They could be swayed too.
Yeah,
But given that type of opportunity, understanding what your ultimate goal is, you don't really you don't really know that there are skeletons. You're just going to go look. And when you find them, you're like, "Oh shit." You're shocked, right?
yeah.
Versus, "Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, that's normal. They do that. They did that last Tuesday. That's nothing.
What
That's
what
nothing." You know what I'm
what
saying?
this brings another thing into question is, do you believe in self-governance? Because they said Elon himself will govern himself, and if he feels like it's a conflict of interest, he himself will step back. Do you believe in self-governance when you're dealing with something like this?
On that level, no, I don't think there's a such thing as self-governance. I mean, because you have to have checks and balances, bro. I'm sorry. You just have to. And unfortunately, humans are very flawed. So even those checks and balances can be flawed. But I don't agree with because that's to me that's dictatorship, right? Like nobody can check you. No one has the power to be like, hey,
Well,
I
I mean,
I get what you're trying to do, but I don't agree with it.
they say
You
he
know?
has to pass it through Congress and Trump, and of course, I'm pretty sure he has to because he can't actually get anything enacted by himself. But is that real oversight when we literally just watched, in regards to the whole big boss situation? Bring that back. I'll bring that back up. We literally just watched someone ask Trump, "Hey, how do you feel about this?" Oh, I don't know. The vice president said, "Give him a second chance." I want the vice president. Granted, did he know about it? I'm pretty sure he did. You can't not have known. But if he put out there that, hey, whatever he say goes, or whatever my people say, I'm rocking with it. I'm not really looking too much into it. It is what it is. Does Elon Musk have that type of relationship and authority when it comes to Donald Trump in Congress to be able to, they say he has to pass it through this person and that person. Is that really the case?
I mean, I definitely, given how big of a hot topic this is, if Congress has to lay eyes on it and agree to it, I agree. I think there would be a high level of contention at that point. So Elon can't just get any and everything through the door. That's my thought. Now, Trump maybe, but Congress not so much.
But we haven't even really seen them active though. And in regards to this entire thing, we haven't really seen them come out. And it's hard for me to believe, as much of a prolific figure or chaotic figure that Elon Musk is, it's hard for me to believe that everybody in the Republican Party is in agreement with everything he's doing. And it's seeming I haven't really heard anybody from the Republican Party come out in opposition or resistance to anything he's saying. So is there anybody that even has the gall to stand up and say, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not for that. I'm not
I
saying
don't I don't think you'll hear them verbally go against anything Elon say. I think if, like I said, if anything Elon proposes really does have to go through Congress, you'll see the opposition on that congressional floor.
it's gonna be
Because
interesting.
yeah, I mean it's gonna have to be, and then we'll really see if Trump is pulling strings behind the closed doors. Because you got to think about it like this: like before the election, throughout the whole campaign, right? We said that Trump is moving a little different. He's a little
Uh-huh,
calmer this time.
for sure.
Like, I really do think he's using Elon as his crash out piece this time around instead of being front and center doing that
Well,
and just handling
it's
stuff
definitely
smooth.
working. It's definitely
I mean,
working.
I would say so too. Because Elon is he's doing the stuff that I would expect Trump to do. No, seriously. So it's like, is Trump
But
just being more strategic so you take the heat off Trump and he can actually make something shake and let somebody like Elon do all the crash out stuff? Or do you play that same role and not really get anywhere? Or because you gotta think about it like this. Trump was successful like in his view, his first term, but he didn't really get to do what he wanted to get done. If
yeah,
you really understood what he was trying to do his last presidency. So this time around, it's quite literally 5, 6D chess. And I think he didn't really understand that level back then. Now it seemed like he understand that and he got figureheads for certain things. So like now you can really move behind closed doors.
does
Or
Elon willingly play the crash out? Is this something?
maybe.
Is this something that they've cooked up and he's a willing participant in this, or is he being used as a pawn unknowingly?
No, I don't think he's being used as a pawn. I think Elon is too intelligent for that. I do think I do
Is
think he's
Trump being
willingly.
used as a pawn?
I don't think anybody is being used as the pawn. I really don't. I think everybody is complicit. First of all,
I mean, people can be
on
yeah,
that level, I think they're all complicit.
everybody can be complicit. And I asked that question: is Trump being used as a pawn? Maybe I should say it in a different way. Has Trump, in a way, been bought when you think about how much money Elon Musk invested into him becoming the next president? Has he been bought in a way that maybe he is giving Elon Musk the reins in a way that because when have we ever thought of Trump as somebody to hand over some of his power to somebody else and share the spotlight and share as much as even the presidential office? Has he
No,
been
I
is
mean, it's definitely Trump is a huge egoist. So the fact that, and that's why I'm pointing out the fact that he's moving so different because Trump in his last presidency moved like an egoist.
yeah,
He was the center of attention at all times. He's moving completely different this time around, allowing people like Elon to take the heat so he can move how he want to move to get other shit done probably. And that's why I'm saying I don't think anybody is being used in any fashion. Now, could money play a role in this? Most likely. It always does, especially at that level. But is Trump getting what he wanted seemingly, and is Elon getting what he wants seemingly? Yes.
What exactly does Elon want? Because do you, that's the question I pose. Is Elon Musk just here for the good of the people who wants to expose government agencies? What does Elon Musk get out of the millions and millions and millions of dollars invested into Trump and running
So
Doge? Like, what does he get out of it?
this is a really touchy topic. I'm gonna say that up front. I'm gonna preface this with that. Go back during the Biden administration and look at how Elon talked about the Democratic Party and Biden administration specifically. He has a lot of angst towards Democrats in general because of
They X'd
he
him out.
believes not just that, but like what that whole ideology did, what he feels like did to his son, his oldest son. So that whole movement ideology, he really has a lot of hate towards that. So the fact that he was well within that, added on top of getting X'd out for, financially,
Yeah.
test, all that stuff, right? Add that on top of touching his, or messing with his kids. I mean, he a man on fire, like on some Denzel Washington stuff, like for real. I'm for real, bro. Like he crashing out, and he said he would do this. He said he would do this.
And that's why I say, how does it end? Like, me personally, I don't think that the two type of personalities they are. I don't see them going all 4 years with this close in relationship. I think there will eventually be something that happens, whether it's Elon overstepping and Trump being forced to pick a side, MAGA or Elon. Because we see him bump heads with MAGA all the time in regards to what Elon wants and what they want, what they stand for, and what he stands for. And we see Trump in the middle a lot of times having to kind of reel everybody back in, so I just don't see how it ends. I mean, we'll have to watch. We're only a couple of weeks in. It's a lot of moving pieces. But like you said, we agree with the premise of what he's doing out of these governments. I mean, these government agencies. It's looking like there's a lot of fraud, a lot of
Hmm.
crazy. Some of the stuff I'm seeing in regards to spending is absolutely nuts.
Bro, on stupid stuff. Like,
Absolutely
who
nuts.
cleared this? Like, bro, nah. And this should piss off every American more. The money that they take from your hard work, they taking and spending on some BS just because.
People thought the money Biden was sending to Ukraine was back, bro. That made that money look like the
Like
stuff I'm
peanuts.
seeing, bro. And it infuriates you because they tell us, regardless, yeah, for everybody, if you got student loans, you pay your debt. And I'm not really trying to hear that because seeing the stuff that they've been spending money on.
Hey, right, right,
Hey,
right. I used to get on to people.
yeah,
I
nah.
used to get on to people. Nah, man. Nah, bump
All the
that.
stuff y'all
Bump
spending
that.
money on or roads
Bump
shouldn't
that.
be looking bad. Them people out there in California who homes burned down, y'all shouldn't be sending them $700 checks.
I mean,
It's
them newly built houses is what should be happening.
it's
Fully
insane.
insured.
It's insane, bro. And part of me, if Elon, regardless how we feel, regardless of how he goes about it, regardless of how chaotic he is and seems in regards to this, if he can shine a light and stop a lot of that and make it to where really him going against the pen, that's really going to be interesting for me. So USAID, that was just from what I'm hearing, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That was just the starter. That was just the low hanging fruit, the
Right. You
easiest
ain't
things
seen
to
nothing
go
yet.
after.
You ain't
I
seen
think
nothing
it's
yet.
it's gonna get crazy. And now we see if they're wasting money like that, what are the highest levels of government agencies wasting money on? And who is it going
Right.
to? What countries is it going to? Do you, I had a crazy theory. Have we been funneling money to China? Our government agencies?
I wouldn't
Who
put it past
knows
us.
something like that?
I wouldn't put it past us.
That would be insane.
I wouldn't put it past. And this is my thing. This is what I be telling people. I be telling people. I said, now wait a minute. Elon's whole thing is finding corruption, overspending, and inefficiencies in government, right? Okay. All right. I'm glad we got that set as a baseline. Why are all of them people mad?
He
They
said
they ready to storm the streets
he said the people doing it
over.
together is where the corruption coming from.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, dang, man, you would think that they would want all of that to happen. They would want the corruption to be found and less money spent and more money
And
back in the
that's
pockets of American people.
that's where it looks bad because to see the Democratic Party mobilizing like this about
Brian never seen them get loud like this.
I'm
I'm
saying
talking about
I'm saying people get out
actual
of body.
government officials.
Out of body. Say I heard somebody say we on your ass. I said, what?
What, bro? Like, hey, y'all acting
Really?
real different.
Hey, I got high spirited, and it's really because I'm a high spirited person anyway, especially when I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about. But I'm not in the government, and that's like if somebody's accusing you and your company of doing fraud, or they're no, not even accusing you. They're saying, okay, we're gonna investigate this unit for fraud, and you, "Nah, man, don't do that. Don't do-" That's where the fraud
Like,
comes
hey,
from. Why are
yeah,
you so
hey, why you so hostile?
so
What's going on?
from that aspect, it is interesting because when he said that, it made me. I'm like, man, it's not looking good.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Where was that money that y'all was writing off to Ukraine really going? Hey, when they start peeling that back, when they start peeling back all these like USA, that's it. That's not it. That's not all of
Oh, if you
the
going at the
corruption.
if you're going at the Pentagon,
Right.
you
Talking
ain't
about
holding back no
auditing the
shots. You going
IRS, bro. Fam, hey, all I'm gonna say is look up the last person that suggested we audited the Pentagon. Look up what happened to the last person that suggested that. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
it's Elon Musk and Trump playing a dangerous game.
In government, you always playing a dangerous game, but
Thi-
unfortunately, somebody got to do it.
But Trump, he is the sitting president. I mean, we've seen sitting presidents get assassinated before. Elon Elon's not walking around with Secret Service every day, 24/7, constantly. It's Elon taking on unnecessary risk and hatred to be the people's champ that exposes the government agencies. Do you want that kind of heat and attention, being somebody that, has a lot at stake when you're talking about your companies, when you're talking about all of the deals that and all of the wealth that you've established?
If people are already saying that they're selling their shares of Tesla and Elon Musk owned companies, and he ain't stopped, I don't see that impacting his judgment on if he
You
continues or
talk about
not.
life or death, bro. You're going at the highest of highs. The Pentagon. We've heard about the conspiracy theories, the CIA has been behind this. This government agent's been behind that. They've gotten this person killed. They've done this. They've done that. I mean, does he know? Does he realize what he's getting into?
So a little bit of homework. I'm sure they got it on Netflix. Watch Man on Fire when you got some free time. Okay. It has nothing to do with government anything. I'm just simply saying when you as as not only I can only imagine as a parent, especially as a man,
Yeah,
but when you are fed up and you
yeah.
say you're going to do something, when you get the chance to do it, do you or do you not take that chance? Because if you don't, you're not that mad. You're not that mad
Does he have?
if the hey, all I'm saying is, I'm not parading, I'm not championing
Yeah.
anything. I'm just speaking from an observation.
I just wonder if he
Elon is
really was
moving like
ready
he a
to let you
madman. That's
know.
all I'm gonna say. That's all
'Cause
I'm gonna say.
if a president can get touched, Elon can get touched. And you're
I'm
talking
not
about
saying it's not
yeah,
possible.
I know what you're saying, but I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
if I'm Elon, my frame of thinking, or if I'm in Elon's close circle, I'm like, hey, when you're dealing with all of these government agencies, I mean, you don't even know which way to be even looking over your shoulder. You're dealing with
But when
so
you mad, do you care?
you should.
When you're that mad, no. When you're that mad, do you care?
I haven't really seen him display real animosity and anger.
You
If that's
don't
how he
have to.
truly feels, his demeanor is
But that's the thing. You don't have to display it. Go back, for real. Go look at them videos and research that what we brought up in terms
yeah,
of that. And you'll understand. It's not necessarily showing it because if you always showing how you feeling, you might as well show them your hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like Trump and Elon, they are fully complicit into what's going on. They are totally okay with what's going on for now. Elon know what he doing, and Trump knows what he's doing. You don't get to them points in life or just in status in general without knowing somebody and being smart enough to be there. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. I just don't at that level. I don't know, bro. He's already had Trump. He's already had an attempt on his life just trying to get to the Oval Office. So I
Right.
mean, when you dealing with we're just talking about how crazy it is to see all of these politicians, these congressmen and women, these Democrats mobilizing, pushing back against Elon. If some people have had theories of, the Democratic Party or these people allegedly being behind Trump's assassination. How
Attempt.
far?
Attempt.
How allegedly the attempt?
Yeah,
How
yeah, yeah.
how far are these people, these government agencies, the elites, the deep state, all of the terms we hear? How far are they willing to go to hide the corruption, to hide the?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're willing to do anything. I mean,
It's
yeah,
scary, bro.
I'm sure they're willing to do anything.
Hey,
That's all I'm going
this
to
should have been an
say.
after
I'm
dark
trying to
topic.
get
This should have been an after dark topic. I got you. Hey, we're not trying to get canceled, so we might need to,
Hey,
yeah. Hey,
anyway, RFK Jr. got
yeah.
confirmed, bro. Like, it's about to get real healthy, real lean in here. A lot of
That's
people
a,
don't like it
that,
though.
that's another one, dude. He know what he getting into. You going to big pharma? Come on. Hey,
Oh man. Have you
big
seen Dope Sick
pharma?
on Hulu?
Huh?
Have you seen Dope Sick on Hulu?
No, I need to watch that.
Bro, I mean, that pretty much sums it up how they get down in the pharmaceutical game. So, I mean, I hope these people know what they're getting themselves into. Because I mean,
Maybe he been
again,
around.
not wishing
He been
anything.
around the block though. He should know for sure.
Right. But at the same time, we're not glorifying or wishing anything on anybody. We just talking. We just talking.
That's that's all.
And that's really it. But like, yeah, it's a lot of backlash on that confirmation.
I
Like,
like a
and
lot of
and
stuff
this
that
is
he's
why
putting forth. Because it's a
I
lot
do
of
too,
unnecessary dies, this, that stuff that has nothing to do with the taste. Like,
bro.
try
Like,
to
what
sell
is
that
that in
on.
there for? What is
Clean it
that in
up.
there for? And
Clean
that
it
and
up.
that and that further proves the point. Look at who's screaming the loudest. That's who you need to be looking at. Like, not the see, people get so caught up in the shiny object and the hoopla, and they not stopping and they're not thinking for themselves. If you that mad at him talking about removing such and such because it's not good for us, why are you that mad?
I don't
Why?
know.
Tell me what's so good about this that makes him alive, basically.
Them Uncrustables, I was hurt.
I get you. I get you. But
But
hey,
in the
if
great,
what you're consuming is not real and not good for you,
Yeah.
Bro, not only are you taking my money, but you feed me BS. I'm spending the money that I do have on BS. So I gotta spend more money later down the line just to stay healthy. Like, nah, bro. I'm paying month after month for pill after pill after pill. No, enough.
You're killing me both
Enough.
ways.
You're killing me every which way. I'm good, man. Like, if God put it on earth and these people didn't have to have a pill for every little thing back in the day, they was doing something right. I want to do what they was doing
Yeah,
because they didn't
man.
have to be at the doctor all the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
At,
enough, man. Enough.
at the surface, man, we can speculate about, what people's motives are, this or that. But at the end of the day, RFK, Doge, on the surface, what they're doing is what people have been asking for: transparency, less government overreach, shine the light on them, expose the things that people have been speculating and assuming and talking about for years and years and years. And from that perspective, you know, regardless of who's the face of what, it is refreshing to see, honestly.
Yeah, but people get caught up in the face. They get caught up in the messenger instead of the message. And that's what be making me mad about people. Like, man, push the personal stuff aside. This just talking to regular everyday people. This is what you've been asking for. We agree on a lot of these topics. Why are you mad at the fact that it's somebody that for one reason or another you can't necessarily agree with on, but you agree with him everywhere else? You being too emotional.
Yeah.
You being entirely too emotional. But people can't get past that. Like this whole Department of Education situation. Well, don't we all talk about how terrible the United States education is in general?
The worst.
Man, who is overseeing education in the United States? Man, damn, it's a department called the Department of Education. What did they do? Right. Why would you want to keep going with the person that's been messing you up this entire time?
I'll say this. I'll say this because I spoke about this as well. And I think this is where I was having issue with it. You point out the inefficiencies of something. Well, let's just use them, the Department of
Right.
Education. If you're going to get rid of them, I need you to not just acknowledge the issue and not just press the delete button, but I need to know what you're replacing them with. Because
Oh,
we can't
absolutely.
we can't just go delete this, cut this agency, cut that, cut this spending, do this, do that, acknowledge all of the issues, and we're not having solutions. And I think that
But
that may be what scares a lot of people in regards to everything that's happening and moving and things getting cut so fast is because we're hearing about what's getting cut, we're hearing about what's getting done away with, and we're not hearing about okay, what's replacing this. Because if you say I'm
but
cutting the Department of Education and replacing it with this, and this is going to do this, and that, and replace these inefficiencies, then people may not have as much angst as they're having now.
But that's why it's so important to understand both levels of government. You have federal and you have state level. A lot of the stuff that they're cutting, I would expect states to pick up the slack on.
But the
Now, that may make
state
but hold up,
trash
that may
too.
make your state taxes a little higher.
Yeah,
Yes, but having your state control certain positions, issues, education, stuff like that, that gives us way more power. And then that brings it back more down closer to a level for us to have a more direct impact and vote how we want. Now, like bringing stuff back to the state level makes your local elections all the more important because they're already more important, arguably, than the presidential election,
yeah,
right? But if Trump admin is cutting these places, I would expect the states to pick up the slack. So now it's up to the states
yeah.
on whether or not you up your game in these areas. And if the people got a problem with it, you have a quicker turnaround in terms of addressing the solution at the state level than you would at the federal level. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, that was the whole deal with abortion and all that kind of stuff. But does the state not get a lot of funding, especially for areas not a suburb, inner cities, all of that kind of stuff? Do they not get funding from a Department of Education at a federal level?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some
So,
grants and things of that
so
nature
what
have
about
goes down.
what about if a lot of these states don't have the infrastructure or the money or the resources to do anything? at a state level.
Well, first off, I do think there's no state that has no capacity to perform those functions on some level.
So they're just
Maybe
choosing not
not
to.
right, because you're outsourcing. You're outsourcing. And that's how a lot of states get away with keeping some of those dollars in house versus having to spend it.
That's why another I just did a video today when we're talking about not a video, I did a video a couple of days ago. I apply states like Texas because they have sovereign wealth funds specifically for education. And that may be something we're talking about this, that may be something that every state needs to adopt because that's a brilliant idea. And they get a lot of that money from the taxes that they receive on, I think it's like oil and gas or stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that sovereign wealth fund, and they got two of them. Texas, the one state got two for education, along with a lot of other states. That's something that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you talking about strategic reserves with Bitcoin. Why wouldn't you, like every state wanting a strategic reserve for Bitcoin, why wouldn't you do a sovereign wealth fund or something else like that to
yeah.
fund educational needs? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of ways to address the issue. It just people be too worried about talking about the issue instead of actually doing something about the issue or complaining about it. So it's stuff to be done. I'm no expert. I don't
Yeah.
know how all that stuff works, but I'm just simply saying there's absolutely no way that's an impossible thing for us to solve for. That's all I'm saying on the state level. But moving on, wrap it up, man. We gotta end it with a market update. We gotta end it with a market update. And man, your boy, the good brothers of OTC, you would think, we knew something about what we talked about, what we be talking about. Because man, I could have sworn we said pay attention to the market for red days and be sure that you're ready for the red days. We wasn't saying when or what was gonna cause it.
I ain't gonna
We
lie.
was just simply
I
saying
said I said Q1.
we all said Q1.
Q1. The writer was on the wall. If you believe that Trump was gonna do what he said he was gonna do,
Right, right. And that's not necessarily saying that he's doing anything bad.
yeah.
That's just simply letting you know how to read the markets. Because if you can pay attention to how the market moves and what impacts the markets, then you would be a much more savvy, much more confident investor.
Uh,
None of this is financial advice, but if you ever want to become a really good investor, be sure you learn how to read market cycles, read market structures, read market catalysts, know how to read the charts to some degree. You don't have to be no expert, but you got to know something. Because now, if you know all that and you position yourself right, you can take advantage. A lot of people in the crypto space crying, bro, talking about the skies falling. They mad at the world, this, that, and the third. Well, man, if you position yourself to have some dry powder, right, to take care of to take advantage of moves like this and not be over position, meaning you have way more at risk than what you're willing to lose, you be all right. That's just my take.
and with that being said, I think you talked about this on I can't remember if it's on X or Instagram. You shouldn't be worried about if the market is dropping in the short term because make money both ways.
Make money plenty of ways.
make money both ways. Make money both ways. But if you're new, I don't normally, wouldn't steer somebody new to trading.
Oh
So if
no.
you're new, no. If you know how to, and if you know how to trade, if you know how to read some charts and all that kind of stuff, then you can be making money both ways. But in regards to the market, what's going on? We had some earnings last week, and some of the big standouts. Of course, we had Alphabet, their revenue. They kind of came on par with their actual 96.47 billion. EPS was a beat at $2.15. Advertising revenue was up $72, 72.46 billion. Google Cloud revenue was down did came in under estimates at 11.96 billion. Operating income kind of came in at estimates at 30.97 billion. That is Alphabet, ticker symbol GOOG or GOOGL. And then we also had AMD, which is another big one that I've talked about a lot. One of my favorites, ticker symbol AMD. Their revenue came in at a beat, 7.66 billion. Earnings per share came in at estimates $1.09. Their data center revenue, they hit a slight miss at 3.86 billion. Gaming revenue came in at a beat, 563 million. Client revenue came in at a beat, 2.31 billion. And I think that data center revenue is kind of what saw AMD tick down a little bit. But if you look at the earnings, and not just look at these headlines, their earnings were actually pretty good. They had revenue all time highs in revenue. Their data center business, even though they had a miss, is what drove a lot of their great revenues that they had, especially in their earnings per share and all that kind of stuff. So another one was Eli Lilly. Another one is Eli Lilly, a behemoth. When we're talking about the health sector, and they came in at a beat on revenue, 13.53 billion, EPS $5.32, and their guidance for 2025, 22.5 to 24 billion, which is great. That came in over estimates, which is good. And then also big news. We had two big news. Oh, I forgot one. Amazon, another big
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
Their net sales 187.8 billion, which was a beat. Earnings per share, which was a beat, $1.86. AWS net sales came in at estimates of 28.8 billion. Operating income came in at a beat, 21.2 billion. Net sales Q1 2025 guidance, they are estimating they're guiding under estimates at 151 to 155 billion. But overall, Amazon did good. They went down as well because of their AWS. But we had some really, really big news in the market today that I think people need to be paying attention to. And both headlines involved OpenAI. So if you've been paying attention, OpenAI announced a partnership with TSMC. They're going to be making application specific chips. So, as an investor, that's something that I'm definitely going to be paying a lot of attention to. Because when we're talking about application specific chips, you're getting into that Broadcom bag. They make application specific chips, and they were one of the ones that was a big standout in 2024 when we were talking about ASICs. Also, how does this affect an NVIDIA? How does this affect an AMD? We know it's a good thing for TSMC. We already told you about TSMC. Everything runs through them. They're pretty much the heart of the operation. But OpenAI, man, they're still not publicly traded. But I can't wait till they do. And another big thing that came out as far as OpenAI is involves Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, a led group, made a $97.4 billion bid for control of OpenAI. And how did Sam Altman respond? He said, "No, thank you, but we will buy Twitter for 9.74 billion if you want."
No, we got that player.
So we see the war between Elon Musk and Sam Altman continue, but all in all, man, this is amazing news for OpenAI. They've been getting a lot of funding. OpenAI, man, they're gonna be a force. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. And this is why I told people the whole deep sea thing was overblown. And OpenAI is not going anywhere. Our top
Right.
companies aren't going anywhere. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what's going on in the market. The markets aren't reacting as negatively as I thought to this round of tariffs that we just seen today. So that's
Yeah.
good. A lot of the negative sentiment may already be priced in, but we'll just have to monitor and watch the markets, man. We are in unprecedented times, in terms of news cycle, in terms of things can come out literally any second and affect
Right.
market sentiment, affect the price of stocks, affect the price of crypto, and things are just really shaky right now. We're not on fragile ground.
Yeah. I got a couple of things to report on in the world of crypto. So we had Ondo Finance. They had their summit earlier this week, I believe on the 6th. So it was last week actually. And they spoke about institutional DeFi. basically a lot of big money institutions, they're looking to get into the world of crypto and decentralized finance. Ondo Finance, and they created their own blockchain. They are looking to bring things like a stock market on chain. So like tokenized securities, tokenized stocks, bonds, that type of stuff. So it'll be real interesting to see the development around that. Being able to trade stocks and securities 24/7, immutable, transparent on a blockchain would be super dope. They're also talking about how they're going to be able to bring certain crypto primitives like staking on US securities. I think that'll be pretty cool because that opens up a lot of opportunity for traditional finance and crypto when it comes to decentralized finance. So definitely something you'll want to pay attention to. Ondo Finance, that's a big move. Not only that, but they've also partnered with Ripple, the creators of XRP, to bring tokenized securities, stocks, stuff like that onto the XRP ledger, but also to bring their short-term treasury yield stablecoin, I guess you could say. Or it's not necessarily a stablecoin, but it's basically like a tokenized US Treasury fund. And I believe they're like 3-month treasuries. They are bringing that product to the XRP ledger as well. So you can essentially get exposure to traditional finance products and earn real yield on that, which is pretty dope. A lot of people don't even know how to get to treasury bonds, how to house them, because like custody them, things of that nature, how they can be an effective uh, financial instrument when it comes to investing. So the fact that they're bringing a product like that on chain, opening up the access to that is pretty dope. Definitely something to look out for. And then another thing that came up was RDC, or the Receipts Depository Corp. They are a startup founded by Citigroup, or a couple people from Citigroup. They're basically giving institutions access to securities, another security platform on the XRP ledger. So again, bringing real world products, tokenizing the stock market, tokenizing the bond market, bringing it on chain. That I don't think people really understand how big that is because there's a lot of money in those markets. And if you bring that market on chain and it operates to some capacity on a blockchain, especially something like the XRP ledger, fam, that changes everything. That changes everything. So pretty exciting news. Definitely some big developments. I made a video some time ago talking about institutional interests in decentralized finance and how that, in my opinion, is going to be one of the biggest areas that we see a lot of focus on in 2025 when it comes to crypto. So the fact that these announcements are being made, I'm not surprised. RWAs, real world assets, tokenized securities, that type of stuff is going to be huge 2025 and moving forward. So that's definitely huge. But last little bit is Red Date Technology. They are a company headquartered out in Hong Kong. They are partnered with Flare, the Flare network, and they are having their stablecoin summit coming up in the next couple of days. This is really huge because they're talking about basically the innovations they've been able to create in terms of onboarding the Chinese mainland citizens on a blockchain system without necessarily with a vetted KYC process. So the fact that we're opening up a lot of financial products to citizens who are normally kind of cut out of these things, and we're able to do this in a regulated way through some of the technologies that we've talked about on this channel. We've talked about a lot of these things on this channel. It's not just fairy dust. This is technologies actually being used out there to solve a lot of problems, remove a lot of obstacles, especially when it comes to the financial markets. Blockchain is definitely here to do that. So that summit is coming up in a few days. It'll be interesting to see what they announce, what they talk about, what they were able to innovate. And man, if we start seeing the onboarding of Chinese mainland citizens, just a population of that size, there's no telling what we could see with other populations moving forward as blockchain, crypto, digital assets move into more of the mainstream light. So that's really all I got to report. But man, a lot going on, even though it's quiet. So
Yeah.
definitely got to pay attention to everything because you can definitely miss it.
One more big earnings that I need y'all should pay attention to on February 12th. Robinhood, Q4 earnings.
Yeah,
Robinhood. That's going to be another big player in regards to you know when you're talking about combining the stock market, crypto, meshing all of that into. I think they're gonna be a big player in that. Them and maybe like a SoFi.
yeah. I mean, they're trying to be like essentially SoFi, essentially.
I
Like, I
think
mean,
all.
SoFi is more like banking services, though, right? Like, they're not
Yeah,
really a
they
trading
were
platform.
they were trying to get into that before. What was it? I think the SAB 121 stuff
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of derailed what they had going on. But they
That
they
makes
had a
sense.
platform. Yeah, they had a platform getting into that. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. But I mean, man, a full episode, we pretty much touched on everything. you know, Another good episode in the books. As always, man, you gotta stay locked in, you gotta pay attention because the more you pay attention, the more you know how to kind of like move and position yourself to take advantage of some of the things that are going on in both the governmental sector, the financial sector, and so on. So, man, appreciate y'all for supporting, coming out and watching. You got any closing remarks?
Watch the market, man. Watch the market. We're getting a lot of great assets on sale. AMD, I seen what it hit like 107,
Yeah,
scooped up. Nvidia, we had that for the low a couple of was about a week ago. XRP dropped for the
yeah,
low.
yeah.
Couple,
That was a low point.
so
Had to.
pay attention to the market, pay attention to the news. When you see negative sentiment, don't get caught up in the headlines. Start looking to see where you can shop.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, that being said, man, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.